What's up, broke boys and margin toys? It is that time of year again. No, not Shark Week. It's Powell Week. Yes, Jerome Powell, the guy who looks like he was genetically engineered in a lab to play a central banker in a Netflix drama, is heading to Jackson Hole for his big speech. Now, normally, Jackson Hole is a place you go to ski, hike, or hide from your second family. But for economists, this is Woodstock. It's the Coachella of spreadsheets. Powell's about to drop his final Jackson Hole speech as Fed chair, and people are treating it like the finale of Succession. The question is, will he cut rates? Will he hold steady? Or will he do the classic Powell thing, look into the camera, say absolutely nothing, and somehow still move the markets by 500 points? So here's the problem. Inflation is still running hot, a full percentage point above the Fed's 2% target. Services inflation is especially sticky, and by services, we mean everything from healthcare to haircuts to paying some guy $200 to unclog your sink because you watched 2 YouTube tutorials and eventually gave up. Meanwhile, the job market suddenly looks like it's wobbly. July's job report showed only 73,000 new jobs. To put that in perspective, that's fewer jobs than George Santos has fake resumes. Add in downward revisions from previous months, and the labor market is looking like it just did a keg stand and absolutely face planted. So Powell's dilemma is classic Fed. Does he cut rates to save jobs or keep them higher to crush inflation? It's like asking, would you rather get punched in the stomach or the face? The answer is yes. And of course, Powell has a heckler in the cheap seats, Donald Trump. Trump has been pounding Powell to cut rates faster because nothing says independent central bank like the president tweeting rate cut now at 3 in the morning from a golf cart. Trump wants cheaper money going into 2026 because, well, it turns out voters don't like high mortgage rates and expensive groceries. Shocker, the Fed is supposed to be independent, but you just know Powell's hearing that voice in his head, Jerome, believe me, nobody cuts rates better than me. The best cuts, huge cuts. Meanwhile, the Fed is still divided itself like a bad family dinner. Some officials, like Atlanta's Raphael Bostic and Cleveland's Beth Hammock, are worried inflation could reignite. Others, like San Francisco's Mary Daly and Minneapolis's Neil Kasharky, say the weak jobs report means we need cuts yesterday. So half the Fed is basically saying, keep your foot on the brake. The other half is like, dude, the car's on fire, hit the gas. And Powell's trying to steer this clown car while economists are in the back arguing over the aux cord. Now, Wall Street is pricing in a 25 basis point cut in the September meeting. That's basically 1/4%. And markets are betting that there's at least one more cut before the end of the year, which is great for traders. But here's the kicker. We've been here before. Remember last year, the Fed cut rates and mortgage rates actually went up because the markets had already priced it in. That's right. Cutting rates doesn't always lower borrowing costs. It's like getting excited for Black Friday deals only to realize the store raised prices the week before. Surprise, you're not saving money. You're just standing in line at Best Buy at 5 a.m. for a toaster you didn't need. So, what do we expect from Powell at Jackson Hole? Probably the same thing as always. Long, careful, very boring sentences that will be parsed like they're the Dead Sea Scrolls. If he says modestly restrictive policy remains appropriate, markets will freak out. If he says appropriate remains modestly restrictive, markets will also freak out. But this means there's more. Powell might unveil the results of the Fed's framework review, that's economists speak for we screwed up with our old plan, so here's a new one that will also fail in completely different ways. So look forward to that. They're likely ditching the flexible average inflation target that let inflation run hot in the early 2020s. And the translation here is they're going back to being the strict parent instead of the cool mom that let you drink White Claws in the basement. So here's the bottom line. Powell's last Jackson Hole speech is less about one rate cut and more about the legacy of how the Fed handles a world that just doesn't behave like it used to. Tariffs, supply shocks, sticky services inflation. This isn't the slow, predictable 2010s anymore. This is the messy 2020s. The Fed has to balance jobs versus inflation, politics versus independence, and Powell's legacy versus Trump's tweets. No pressure, Jay. No pressure at all. But hey, at least it gives us something to talk about other than crypto scams and Elon Musk's latest brain chip. Thank you for showing up. This is Max Pitts with Trades and Gains and Investor Central Club. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do all that cool stuff to make sure you never miss a video. And we will see what happens, and I'll keep you updated with any updates about Jackson Hole this week. See you in the next one.